Oh, no. There we go. Right, it started recording 2 seconds in. Right, we have Elizabeth and Wonder Natty, or is it Super Natty? It's Wonder Natty, right?
Natty.
To talk about a men's march in London. Elizabeth, when is this march?
It is Sunday the 17th of November. So Men's Day is the 19th, which is the Tuesday. But since people are generally working and stuff like that, we're holding it on the Sunday. And it's not just a march, it's a mini conference as well.
Right. And are you both going?
But of course.
No, it's just because I'm not going.
I know.
So, out of the three of us here,
Every year. This is the first year we haven't asked you to talk because you always say no. Do you want to talk?
I never get asked to talk. I never get asked to talk at any of these things.
What a fib. What a big fib.
Not. And I swear I never get asked to talk. I get asked to go. I get asked to go to different things, but I never get asked to talk. Never.
Come and talk.
I would have had time. That's the only problem. I don't actually mind that I don't get asked because I just couldn't do it because of the time and all that kind of business, you know. Well, time and money, pretty much, you know.
Yeah.
It's always because I'm away up in Glasgow, remember, you know.
So it's away.
It is quite a while away.
We'll pay your ticket.
No, it's no, it's not that. It's, as I say, it's time and money, so it's, you know, it's a bit of both. But no, I never get asked to speak. I never get asked to speak at these things. Do you know what I thought it was? It was 2 reasons that I thought, because I did think before, I wonder why I never get asked, you know, at certain events, you know, and I thought first it must be my accent. But when I've seen some of the people that go to these things, I know it's not my accent. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, maybe it's because I swear too much. Maybe that's why people don't want to ask me to talk, because I swear a lot. And then I noticed that Tommy Sotomayor got fucking invited everywhere. So it can't be that either. It can't be that. You know, so I don't know what it is. But no, I don't get invited to talk anywhere. But I mean, in a few years' time, I'll be able to have the time and all that. But right now, I just can't do it anyway. So I don't really bother.
You know that your we showed some of your videos at ICMI 18.
Oh, I know that, because Mike asked me what videos he wanted me to, and I just sent him some funny ones, you know, that I'd made. Yeah. But I went to the 2016 one, the one in London. I was at that one, which was fun. It was quite good, you know. It was good to meet people who you know, you don't know their faces, but you know their names. You know, because you talk to them on your videos and stuff, and in the comments, it was quite good meeting people. But no, I never talked.
Hang on a minute. If you could go to ICMI 16, how come you can never come to anything that I invite you to?
Well, oh no, but the thing you invited me to was the nightclub thing. I remember that, and I did want.
But I have asked you. I definitely would stake my life on the fact that I asked you to talk at the first Messages for Men. I'm pretty sure I asked you last year too.
No. But Mike usually lets me know. He usually sends me an email and says it's happening and all that kind of stuff. 2016, I was just able to get somebody to look after my boy for when I was away.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I had the time, and I knew I could do it then. I thought, fuck it, I'm just going to go and see what it's like. And it was quite good, you know, I quite liked it. But I also really like London, you know, so I know you don't like it because you live there, but I like London, you know.
You only like it because you don't live here.
I think that's probably it. Aye.
There are pros and cons.
Because when I see London on the news, it's not very pretty. But you know what I mean? It's not very pretty. Right. But when you're there in the kind of touristy safe bits, that is nice. London is nice, you know. But I wouldn't move away from the touristy parts because, you know, it's asking for trouble, isn't it?
You want to? Well, no, actually, I don't want to dox myself. I was going to say something about where I live. Where I live's all right, but I'm like at least 40 minutes out of the centre.
I live near Tooting. Whoops.
That's a busy area though, right?
Edit
That's one of the
out.
main. That's one of the main parts, is it not? Tooting.
No, it's also not that close to central London, but it's not an area that I recommend that you live in.
Is it how do we say, diverse? We're
Yes.
allowed to say that, diverse, yes.
There are lots of wonderful restaurants of beautiful exotic food all over the place. You can find anything you like. That's great.
As long as you like halal and jerk chicken. Is that what you mean?
Actually, no. It's got. I'm being serious here. It does have a lot of nice eateries. One of the only benefits of our diverse.
Well, whereabouts in London is the march being held? Where will that be? How long is it as well?
So the march will be. I'm assuming that it's going to be exactly the same as it has been the last 2 years, Elizabeth, right? Which is basically in the Royal Courts of Justice and then a walk to Parliament Square.
And how long would that be?
What was it, like half an hour? Or was it? Yeah, we sort of an hour.
How many people are you expecting to be there?
For the march?
Yes.
So I would say the last 2 years we probably had about 200 or maybe...
See, that's more than I'd
I
expect.
think that might be, yeah, possibly, yeah.
Maybe 100?
Like generous.
Maybe 100.
That's still a lot though.
Yeah,
For a men's match.
For a
That's
men's
a lot.
match. Yeah, and I mean, you know, it's always a great atmosphere. It's really nice to see people here. It's really nice to see people who can be asked to get off their, you know, off their keyboards, away from their keyboards and come and actually, you know, do something on the streets. And, you know, it's a bonding experience. And before we walk, we've got, have you got the megaphone, love?
Yes.
Natty? Yes. I thought so. Yeah, we take a megaphone and we get people to stand up and give a few, you know, thoughts, some impromptu speeches, some planned. I'm sure mine was planned last year. I can't impromptu talk. I get too yeah. So it's fun. It's good. It's a good thing to do.
Are there rules, things that you don't want now?
On the march?
Yes. Like costumes and stuff. Is it supposed to be like totally serious, or can it be fun? Can somebody come in a costume or whatever, or have a joke placard and stuff?
Once, didn't they?
He had Spider-Man. Not last year. Yeah, I think he was paying homage back to the Fathers for Justice days.
Yeah.
Yeah, if someone wants to come in a costume, that I'm up for it. I'm fine. I'm fine with that. I think the guys that are organising the march this year, I don't think they have any issues with that, do they, Elizabeth?
No. I mean, I think we did have a rule at some point. I don't know if it was last year or the year before or both years. From the guys who organised the march the last 2 years, which was Vincent McGovern and Nigel Pankhurst, who may or may not be related, probably is. But they had a rule that they didn't want any really graphic images of, like, you know,
circumcision.
That would upset children.
Circumcision and abortions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whether, you know, the guys that are organising it this year will have a similar rule, I don't know. It might be worth talking to them about that. But I mean, actually, you know, we are maybe 4 or 5 days into actually deciding to have a march this year, because Vincent and Nigel couldn't organise it this year. And so, I sort of looked at Natty and said, can you do it? And she was like, I don't have time. Can you do it? And I was like, I don't have time. So we decided to, and then this guy, Manget, got in touch with me asking about it a couple of days ago. And I said, oh, yeah, we're doing this for men, but we're not doing the march this year. And he said, oh, why is that? And I said, we just didn't have anyone who had the time to do it. And he said, I'll do it. And he works with the European wing of the Save Indian Family Foundation. And he's got like 20 kind of people that he works with, who I presume are 19 guys. And there's one woman involved called Shruti. And yeah, they've decided to take the ball and run with it, which is really good, because it's really hard to find people who aren't kind of, they don't want to backseat drive other people's campaigns and add to other people's workloads or just complain about other people's methods. They've actually got some get up and go and, role that needs to be filled and do it. You know what I mean? Like, there are so many people who will do the other things, who want to bother people who are doing stuff anyway. But there's very few people who want to actually do the stuff. So I'm really pleased that he got in touch and really impressed that he was so eager to get stuck in.
Mm-hmm. You said he was Indian. Does that mean Mangesh is his actual name?
It is his actual name.
Because I thought it was Mangesh, and that meant something. But there you go. There you go. Mangesh, that's his actual name. I think I've actually spoke to him before when I phoned Virgin in the call centre, to fix my internet. And I'm joking. For God's sake. I hope he doesn't take offence to that. It's all right. It's all right because he couldn't understand me when I spoke to him anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Hey, at least you're not from Belfast.
Not from Belfast.
Fast.
Not from Belfast. Do you think that's a worse accent?
Yeah, I think that's the worst.
People think I'm Irish though.
Belfast, but that's what I think.
People always think I'm Irish. I don't know why that is. Not in Britain, but Americans, a lot of them tend to think I'm Irish.
Yeah, but they don't have a clue, do they?
The what?
Oh, I was just saying, the Americans, as far as British accents go and European accents, they don't have a clue.
No. Because they see a British accent like the way royalty would speak, and they don't understand that there's like 1,000 different dialects in Britain. For everywhere you go, everybody speaks that. Because if they heard somebody from Liverpool, they would never think that was a British accent. That's not what they think a British accent is, even though it's just as British as, Prince Charles. You know what I mean?
Probably more.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, people from Liverpool are generally not German.
Generally Irish, to be fair, but still.
No, that's because of the docks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is this March, right? And then you said there's a conference. So it's on the 17th to the 19th.
No, it's on the 17th.
It's on the 17th of March.
International Men's Day, and International Men's Day is on the 19th. That's why I mentioned that.
So it's on the 17th. So is there like a price? Is there like a ticket price or something for people?
There is a ticket price. It's 20 British pounds.
I've got over that. I've totally got over that. The Americans call Britain England all the time, man. And I've got over it now. Years ago it used to piss me off. Like, oh, for fuck's sake, it's Britain, not England. But now it's like, okay, because I know what they mean. I know what they mean when they say it. So that's I know exactly what they're talking about. So it's £20 a ticket.
It is.
Which is, that's quite cheap in London. That's expensive here, but in London that's quite cheap. But And that is that to take part in the march, or is that just for the conference?
No, the march is absolutely free. Everybody's
Right.
welcome to come and join us there. But the conference is on. Have we got 2 p.m.?
No,
At 2
3
p.m.
p.m.
Right.
3 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Okay.
No, we can do. Yeah.
Right. We can do 2 p.m.
It's still officially 3 p.m. But we've got if it needs. Sorry, we were having a conversation about whether or not we'd need more time. That was because there wasn't going to be a march, but because there is going to be a march, then I think 3 p.m. needs to stay.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Did you say 3 to 11? Did you say 3 to 11?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite long. But where is the conference held? We know where the march is, but where's
In a
the
very
conference?
highly top secret location, nowhere near where it was held last year.
So is this to prevent idiots turning up, basically?
Exactly.
So if you buy a ticket, that's the only way to find out where it is?
Yeah, and we inform ticket holders the day before. Is that right?
Or maybe another time. Who knows?
It's terrible. It's terrible that you need to do that, though. You know, it's terrible that you need to do that. So that means it's not in a place where there'll be security at the door.
Actually, this venue is quite secure, I would say.
Yeah.
So
even if the protesters find it, they can't get in.
They have security. So and I suspect the security will tell them to F off if they turn up. For me, I'm not actually that bothered or worried about protests, and I think our crowd is quite prepared for that. But for me, it's more about if any of the our lovers and not haters decide to call any venues they think it might be at and try and sabotage it before it happens. That's
like a bomb scare or something like that, or
yeah, that is exactly what I was worried about, really.
Well, they've done it before.
Yeah, so we will see what happens. I think everyone involved has an understanding that is risky. So
yeah. I mean, you'd be surprised at the people that we approached to use their venues who turned around and said, what, you want to talk about men being human? That's a bit too controversial for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then expect to say that,
But the only good thing about that is when people want you silenced, you must be saying something worthwhile. That's the way I see it. Whenever anybody has to be silenced, they're definitely saying something worth listening to. So that's something worth listening to. So that's one good thing when they try to silence you. That's the only thing you can take from it. But hopefully they don't pull any fire alarms or bomb threats or anything like that. But is there anything else that you need to let people know about before I end this video? Because I don't want the video to be too long because people will watch it.
Well, we need to talk about who's coming, who's speaking.
Yeah.
Not good fella.
No,
not me. Not me, and my speech was going to be brilliant as well. But okay. All
right, you start, Elizabeth.
Okay, well, our keynote speech is from William Collins, who runs the Illustrated Empathy Gap, which is the finest MRA website anywhere. And what he does, we're really lucky because he's UK based, and he takes reports from kind of government reports and charity reports and stuff like that. And, the headlines are always women are suffering. And then he digs down into the numbers and it becomes very quickly apparent that actually, no, it's clearly men who are suffering, more disproportionately every fucking time. And he just released this really important book, The Empathy Gap. It's very weighty. You can get it on Amazon and Waterstones. and it's an indispensable kind of guide to just all of the issues facing men and boys. Today. Okay, your turn, Natty.
I think the next person I'm going to mention is Carl Benjamin, aka Sargon of Akkad.
Sargon there. Cool.
Yeah. He hasn't actually told me what he's going to be speaking about just yet, but I'm sure it'll be good because he's pretty good at doing these things now. At ICMI, I really enjoyed his speech.
You know he's a Nazi, right?
he's a raving misogynist as well. That's why we invited him.
Hey, the mainstream media told me that, so it must be true.
Yeah, I mean, we only have misogynists talk at our event. Like, we don't actually want anyone else.
Yeah, that's the only rule. We've got John Waters. He's my favourite, and he is an Irish journalist. And he's actually, I've talked about him, I remember talking about him last year. He's the guy who fathered Sinead O'Connor's baby and then won custody of her.
Oh.
And yeah, he's a very interesting guy, and he's going to come and talk about the meaning that children bring to their father's lives.
All right. Up next, we've got Zuby. I don't know if you've heard of
that black. I know him as that black guy on Twitter that became famous for saying that he was a woman.
Yeah.
Identified as a woman when he was weightlifting.
Yeah. I've asked him to do a talk about that. And also he's kind of blown up recently because he's been on. I think he was on Dave Rubin
and Joe Rogan as well. He's on that a few times.
Yeah.
He's been recently, hasn't he?
Huh?
He's been on like everything recently. I keep seeing him pop up.
He's likeable though. I think that's what it is. He's likeable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So I think he'll bring something a little bit different because he's not necessarily part of the scene. But I'm really looking forward to meeting him and hearing what he's got to say.
I'm looking forward to a guy called Alexander Adams, who he's got a book out already, which is called something like The Culture War. But I bumped into him when he sent me a message on Twitter asking me if I'd review or not review, read through a manuscript of his called Women and Art. And so he's like well educated on like the fine arts, and he's this book Women and Art, which should be coming out in like the next year, it takes an absolute sledgehammer to feminism in such a refined way. It's beautiful, and he talks about their perspectives on art and how they are damaging art. It's really awesome. So I'm looking forward to him bringing a bit of class to the occasion. I'm always too drunk to do it, so someone's gotta.
Is he English?
It certainly ain't gonna be me.
Is he English?
Yeah, is he English, Elizabeth? I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, up next we've got Richard Orritt, who I did an interview with recently about incels. I don't know if you've seen him.
I know who he. I follow him on Twitter. I've seen that interview.
Okay. So he's basically going to do a talk about his life and his experience as an incel. And I think that's going to be really interesting. Before he came and met up with us, me and Elizabeth, he has been on a bit of a journey himself over the last few years where he basically used to stay in his house and not talk to anyone. And now he's out and about socializing, making new friends. So I think this is be a new...
He's got some kind of job with a politician as well, hasn't he? Advising a politician or something?
Oh, he's got a kind of, he's an elected representative in his local area.
He's an elected representative. Wow. Good on him.
I think it's to do with representing disabled people.
Issue, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So what I'm saying is that this guy has spent the last few years just taking steps to become more confident and being out there. And, you know, he's now going to deliver a speech to over 100 people. So, you know, I think it's going to be pretty special.
I mean, there's not many guys who would have the confidence to say that they were an incel, you know? So he's definitely got confidence. No doubt about that.
Yeah, I agree.
We've got Sonia Shaojin.
I'm glad you're saying, I can't pronounce it.
Well, I've no idea if that's the right pronunciation. I'm just making that up. And since Natty's taken herself off the speakers list, she's now the token female, unless we can persuade Natty to elbow her way back in. She runs a project called
Hang on, sorry. She's not the only female. You said Zuby earlier. He's female.
True.
I mean, she's female.
You're quite right.
So that's two females.
Like such a big... Yes, indeed.
Do you know what she's talking about?
This het. She's talking about something to do with fathers as well. I can't remember. We did have a conversation about it, but it'll be really interesting. She's doing really good work. She gets she's a community organizer, and she gets fellas who are like avuncular to mentor lads who have no fathers, and they kind of, you know, hear about an old person who needs their fence repainting or something built in, and the fellas like teach the lads these skills. So it's a very positive input she's having.
All right. Up next we've got Alex Niora. Can't say his name either. Spelled Niora. So for the people who are kind of involved or know about UKIP, he used to be an active campaigner in UKIP, and he is a lawyer, and he's also gay.
That's how misogynistic he is.
Exactly. And he's going to be talking about the relationship between gay men, and their fathers, and basically how he views gay men's place in society, and not from his perspective, and not necessarily from the perspective that we all get. I was trying to think.
The alphabet people.
Huh?
Not the perspective of the alphabet people.
No, the alphabet people. Yeah, exactly. Not from the progressives, okay? Because they think they speak for everyone. So I think it's really important to hear from from someone who's just from the evil UKIP side of things. I don't think UKIP anymore though.
He's like an actual flesh and blood human being who just happens to be gay, rather than a gay man who happens to be a human being on the side.
Yeah, exactly. But he has been one of the only speakers who sent me a promo video so far, so I'm going to upload that to
Good on him. Excellent.
No.
Yeah, we've got a young man who you might have heard of, Dr. Randall McCann Stevenson.
Oh, of course.
And I have asked him to riff on the topic of, because, we're at the 75th anniversary this year, and my favourite video of his that he's ever done is this one called It's Okay to Be Red, when he talks about, why he doesn't feel the need to wear a white poppy, why he's quite happy to wear the red poppy, which is very moving. And I think, last year he spoke on suicide, didn't he? I think it was like why men are funny but not happy.
No, that was
like that.
Before.
Was that the year before?
I think it was about misogyny is a hate crime.
Oh, of course it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's really talented. He's got a real skill for making you kind of laugh and cry at the same time. I thought he'd have a really good take on that.
And then next we've got a guy called John Cooper, who's like a lifestyle and dating coach, based in London. And the reason I asked him to come is because he wants to do a speech on his days as a pickup artist. So he's an ex-PUA, as he describes himself. And he was talking, he talked at the 21 convention earlier this year. I think that he has a really interesting perspective on masculinity and where men are in terms of dating, and how that is for men these days, especially since he's completely changed from being a pickup artist. So I think people will find that really interesting. If you haven't heard of him, he's got a Facebook page and he's got a Facebook group. If you just type in John Cooper, Cooper, and I think he's on Instagram as well. So check him out.
And he used to work with Darren DOJ, right?
Yes.
Is he
they
that guy?
live streams recently as well. I don't know if you watched them. Yeah, so...
Is he ex-PUA, or is that just what he tells his wife? What's going on there?
Is that just what he's telling us, so we fight it?
I don't think
just to be on the safe side.
He's so single.
If you have a PUA there, that's a mixed bunch. You know what I mean? So it's not all the same kind of people there, you know. Mm-hmm. So I think it's good to have a pickup artist there, or even if it's an ex-pickup artist, because it's that helps to add to a mixed bunch rather than, you know, everybody saying the same thing. You know, I think that's good. Who's up next?
We've got Swain the Druid Opie, who is a veteran kind of Fathers for Justice guy, and he is going to be talking about his campaign to establish a minister for men. I'm
against that, but that's just me. I'm against it because I'm against a minister for women. You know what I mean? And I think if there should just be a minister for people. They should be serving us anyway. The politicians should be serving us anyway.
I tell you what we should have a minister for. A minister for families. The building block of society, and, you know... Depends
who's... I mean, if you're going to have a feminist in there, then it just makes it pointless.
Well, you know? There's always feminists in there, and it's always pointless. But, you know, we try, don't we? I mean, we wanted to just rename the Women and Equalities Committee the Equalities Committee, didn't we? Mm-hmm. To start, you know, them on a more progressive, genuinely progressive kind of course, or at least to lay the foundation so that in 20 or 30 years when we've slain the beast, you know, we were good to go. That was Philip Davies' suggestion.
Yeah.
But we bothered all the MPs by asking them to support it.
How many more are there?
Are you lost in the list, Nat?
Am I lost?
No, are you lost in the list? I'm waiting for you to jump in.
There is one more person, and I'm not sure it should be me who introduces him. I think it should be you. I'm not sure it should be me who introduces him. I think it should be you. Two? Oh God, who have I missed?
Yeah, hello. We've got Mike Buchanan, our dear leader, and I think you know what? I specifically asked him. I was like, Mike, you're funny. You're a funny man. Bring some of the humour out. So I'm hoping that he is gonna do something to make us laugh, because he is. I mean, his books are really excellent. I mean, they're really witty. He's got some serious wit, which I think is what Brian from the Glass Blind Spot said about him when he met him at ICMI 18. He was like, I was really surprised how funny he was. So, yes. Might be. Okay. Who the other one is.
Is he going to do like comedy?
it's going to be a laugh a minute presentation.
Ooh, I'm
That's
excited.
15 laps in 15 minutes. All the presentations are limited to 15 minutes, apart from the keynote, which is a whole half hour.
Ooh. Okay, you said there was 2 left. Who's the last person?
Finally, we've got John Wong come in.
Of course. How can I forget John Wong?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what he's going to talk about though. Did you say he was going to talk about free speech?
Yeah,
To confirm.
that's it. Yeah, he's going to be talking about free speech. Involved in all the UKIP stuff, and he kind of, I think he does research for Sargon and stuff like that, doesn't he?
I know. He's a bit of a veteran of Speaker's Corner.
Yeah, and he's a really charming and lovely fellow, generally. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he has
out there a bit more. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. I think he'll be good.
Well, that's a good mixed bunch there. I really would like to be going, but just can't make it, I'm afraid. Will there be videos? Will you be shooting a video?
We will shoot a video. We released all the footage last year, apart from the final. Like at the end, like everyone sat on the stage, all the speakers sat on the stage, and kind of question and answers. And many of us were so drunk, but at the end our cameraman refused to release the footage.
We also had a bit of feminist beef going on. Well, kind of. With one rather drunk lass who was there, who
step in and calm down playing mob, didn't you?
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to like nip that in the bud. She was ready to she was getting kind of emotional. But I'm glad she came. You're missing all the fun, good fellow. Good fellow.
I know. As I say, in a few years' time, I'll be, when my son's up and doing his own thing, I'll be able to do my own thing, and I'll definitely be going to more of these things. But just right now, it's just, it's just the way things are. No complaints. It's just the way things are, Time. It's a pain in the ass. But I'll get there eventually.
The question and answer. I think I was going to discuss with you, Elizabeth, that we make sure that we format it in a very more direct way this year, because I think that last year it might be because people were drunk, but so I'm definitely going to try and get people to hand in questions earlier and be very strict about times, that kind of thing, way more than last year, so that it doesn't happen. So for anyone that was here last year, just know that I'm going to improve it. Okay. Yeah.
So is it okay if I finish on that note? Mm-hmm. Is that okay? Have you covered everything?
The other thing was, although I'm not sure if this is actually happening, but we might have a special guest over from Canada.
Well,
Blackface Trudeau.
Let's just...
Now that would be a special guest.
Let's leave it at that. Let's leave them wondering.
From Canada? Stefan Molyneux from Canada? No?
No, I don't think we could afford him.
Yeah.
No. I'm not going to say, but we might. And if we do, then obviously we will tell everyone.
Yeah, we will shout it from the rooftops.
So I think who could be? Won't be Lauren Southern, because she's kind of out of business now. She's retired. I don't know who it could be. I'll need to think on that one. See if I can guess it. Okay, right. I'll stop the video then, right? Because as I said, I didn't want it going too long. 39 minutes. That's not too bad. That's okay. I'll stop the video. Do you want to say goodbye, ladies?
Au revoir.
Bye.
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 Bye.